Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also on the YouTube channel, as well as Radio Public and Anchor FM. You can also watch the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with a wonderful gentleman who grew up in the Wisconsin area, moved down to Louisiana, or some people call it Louisiana, and he's on the Coca-Cola Trail. He's the author of a wonderful book talking about the history of Coke. It's currently out right now. He'll tell you how to get it, its origins, roots, and interesting facts about the popular soft drink. So before we say further ado here, and before we have a Coke and a smile, and I've got one right in my hand here, ladies and gentlemen, the Coca-Cola man on the Coca-Cola Trail, Larry Jorgensen. Larry, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Mike, thank you. Looking forward to spending some time with you and talking about one of our favorite subjects, Coca-Cola, and how it all happened.
That's right. And Sue, the author of Coca-Cola Trail, talking about the history of Coke. It's currently out right now as well, too. You can, get information on the book, talk about its origins, roots, and very interesting facts about the popular soft drink. And before we get into all that, tell us how you got started.
Well, this got started, I do a lot of freelance writing, and I thought I would do a little travel freelance story on where Coca-Cola was first bottled, which is in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and there's a little museum there.
Interesting.
And I went to that one, and then I realized there was another one about 60, 70 miles away in Monroe, Louisiana. So I thought, well, those two will make a nice story. Well, guess what? The story evolved into a book. The more I got into it, the more I realized there's unique Coca-Cola history all over the place. And it was really a 2.5-year adventure, and meeting some great people and learning some interesting facts that I never knew about Coca-Cola, and I imagine the average Coca-Cola consumer doesn't know. And they're good stuff,
Mm-hmm. That was amazing, too, and maybe some of the facts you can throw out there as well, too, and maybe some of the origins as well. Of course, it's interesting you mentioned it's first bottled in Vicksburg, Mississippi, not Atlanta, and of course, everybody knows about the story of how it came about, but maybe you got some interesting facts for us. Maybe you can refute some of the stories about Coca-Cola that's been all over the media.
Well, the bottling, true, did start in Vicksburg, and it was really a case of necessity. A gentleman there who had a soda fountain and was selling Coca-Cola across the fountain, like most of them were in those days. That was 1894. Also did little catering to picnics and so forth, and he would normally get flavored soda waters from a local bottler to take to the picnic. Well, this one July 4th, he couldn't get his order filled, and he actually had to go to the picnic and make lemonade and so forth. So he decided at that point it was time to do something, and he realized that Coca-Cola was getting very popular across the fountain. He put two and two together, and he said, if I start bottling this stuff, I could get it out into the country. He bought a little bottling machine, and for 5 years, bottled Coca-Cola. He was the only guy in the country bottling Coca-Cola. It's interesting that 5 years later, and one of the chapters in my book tells the story about two ambitious attorneys from Chattanooga that thought, bottling Coca-Cola might be a good idea. So they went to Atlanta and met with Asa Candler, who was the owner and producer of Coca-Cola syrup.
Uh-huh.
And they said to him, Asa, we want to bottle Coca-Cola. We want the rights to do that. And he said, that's a stupid idea. He said, that's I think he called it a back alley job. And he said, he said, we'll probably lose quality. I don't want to have it bottled.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these two, an attorney, these two attorneys finally, after 2 days of talking, convinced him to at least consider it. He said to them, draw up a contract. Let me see it. They drew up a contract. He sold them the rights to bottle Coca-Cola in every place but Mississippi because he knew Joe was doing it there. He sold them the rights for $1, and he never collected the dollar.
Wow.
And he told them when they left, if this doesn't work, don't come whining back to me about it. Well, so here you've got two guys with very limited funds go back to Chattanooga, and they realize, Mike, it's like the dog chasing the car. What do you do with it when you catch it? So they go back to Chattanooga, and they're like, how in the world are we going to bottle Coca-Cola for the United States? They had a grand revenue source of $1,500. That's not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And the light went on. It's called franchising. They probably were one of the first entrepreneurs to start selling off rights that they had. They had the rights for the country, and they sold piece by piece territories to bottle Coca-Cola. So that made them money, but they had a little proviso in there. If you bottle Coca-Cola, obviously you have to use Coca-Cola syrup. Well, for every gallon of Coca-Cola syrup that was sold, they got a commission.
Nice.
So that really is the story as to how Coca-Cola became a national product. Can you imagine having a product that people all over the country invest money in to sell your product? And that's really what happened.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, there was a story in Atlanta that Coca-Cola was first made out of cocaine, soda water, and Coca-Cola syrup and whatever else. And in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and according to the research you've done, what was Coca-Cola originally made of?
Well, in Vicksburg, he used the Coca-Cola syrup that came from Atlanta. In fact, he was a distributor of the syrup. He would use it at his soda fountain, and he would sell it to other soda fountains. And the early days of Coca-Cola, now we have to remember John Pemberton, who invented the syrup, had a Civil War injury with a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, in fact, in the early formula, use cocaine and the cola nut and some other things that they won't tell us to create that first syrup. Well, the cocaine all of a sudden became a negative as far as marketing, and it didn't take long for the formula to replace that. Today, it has the cocoa leaf, but it's not processed into cocaine. So it still has the cocoa leaf content, but not processed into cocaine. And it's a small amount, but the formula is pretty true to the original that John Pemberton created.
That is amazing, too. And we'll talk about some other things like the challenges they face, how they're instrumental in creating the world's recognized brand, historic buildings, local museums, and everything else. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also on Radio Public and Anchor FM, and watch the interview on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube, and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with the Coca-Cola man himself, Larry Jorgensen, the author of the Coca-Cola Trail, talking about the history of Coke, its origins, roots, and interesting facts about the popular soft drink. And, of course, while you're talking about some interesting facts, and I'm just enjoying a Coke right now, too. And, of course, some of the challenges they faced, and how about some of the other challenges that you could also think of as well, too, besides the franchising, marketing, and everything else?
Well, the secret to Coca-Cola, and it holds true today, is their community involvement. They make friends, and that is so reflected in the fact that Coke is, without a doubt, the most collected brand in the world. I defy you to go into any antique store, any flea market, any place, and you don't see something that's Coca-Cola. In fact, when Coca-Cola started doing outdoor advertising, Asa Candler once proudly boasted to the Hollywood crew, I defy you to do an outside film and not have a Coca-Cola sign in the background. But it is truly the most collected brand, and you have Coca-Cola collectors not only all over the United States, but there are clubs all over the world. And, of course, they get together, they trade treasures and look for treasures and so forth. And it's an amazing tribute to the love that has been created by a brand because of their involvement within the community. How many of us can look back at whether it was something in high school or whatever, and football game, who knows, and say, yeah, I remember having a Coke with that. That was great fun, And that's one of the ways that they have continued to be a dominant force in the beverage industry. And of course, we see them adding to their inventory, adding new products, new flavors, but the name Coca-Cola, that's what makes it all happen.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, I think back in 1995, they tried a new formula of Coke, too. And just want to get your thoughts on that. I know you're laughing like, oh, my gosh, you mentioned it. So.
No, that's a good story, Mike, because it shows you what competition will do to you. If you remember at that time, Coca-Cola and Pepsi had initiated this taste challenge. And they would have people come sample two different unmarked beverages, and they would select the one that was their favorite. And it turned out Pepsi was winning that challenge.
Oh, my gosh.
And Coca-Cola really said, we got to do something about this. Well, the secret to the whole thing was Pepsi is sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sample a drink, if you just take a taste, you're probably going to go with the sweeter taste.
Mm-hmm.
But in the long run, you're not going to stick with that. If you finished that drink and then finished the other one, you'd have been back with Coca-Cola. See, but they didn't do that with the test. You got a taste of this one and a taste of that one. Well, Coca-Cola got all uptight about that and decided we have to create the new Coca-Cola. And that one was sweeter, and boy, that was going to be the answer. Well, there are stories of little old ladies in grocery stores accosting their Coca-Cola delivery man and saying, if you don't bring my Coca-Cola back, you're going to get it. And finally, after 4 or 5 years, Coca-Cola admitted they made a mistake. and they went back to what they call the original. And once in a while, I think right now they're bringing back the memories, and they're doing a limited run of that particular fiasco called the New Coke. But people didn't like it, and the reason they didn't like it was too sweet. And that was the whole secret to the thing.
I think it's interesting that Coke 2 is making a comeback, and I think that was inspired by one of the web series, I think on TV on Netflix. I think it's Stranger Things or somewhere around there. They did a Coke 2, and everybody's like, what's Coke 2? And I think, the generation born in 2000 has never had a new Coke. So I guess, the generation back in 95, like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's like, have you heard any feedback on how the new generation, like born in the 2000s, like the millennials, how are they responding to the new Coke?
Well, we think that the old original Coke, based on what we're hearing from distributors, and we talk to a lot of them, very often, because I'm actually doing a sequel to the book. We're doing a Back on the Trail, and there's no doubt that the original Coke is going to be the leader always. You walk into a store, they're still bottling in the 6.5 ounce bottles because of the memory, and the flavor's better, no doubt about it. It's so I think to meet the new tastes. Yeah, they're doing new things. How about that new Coca-Cola Orange?
Oh, that's actually pretty good. I like it. Yeah, orange, vanilla, orange Coke. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It might kind of remind you of the old orange popsicle or creamsicle, I guess they used to call it.
I think it's a dreamsicle. Yes, it's like, my boys introduced them, like, have you tried this orange vanilla? And I saw this dreamsicle. I thought, let's try it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I love it.
You know what's good? You take that orange Coke and you make a float out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Put some ice cream in there. Now you got the real taste of the orange dreamsicle.
And of course, you got cherry Coke as well, too, and vanilla Coke. And what other flavors have been out there from the beginning of time?
Well, that's pretty much it. Some of the things you see now that are distributed by Coke, for example, the new diet drinks in the narrow cans, you notice that says Coke. It doesn't say Coca-Cola. It's the Coca-Cola company's way to satisfy all the tastes that are out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It doesn't have the Coca-Cola syrup in it. It's a whole different product. And that's tough in marketing to stay in touch with what's going on. In fact, Coke is coming with a Coca-Cola coffee.
Nice. I gotta try some.
And they have already sold and are selling in Japan a strong Coca-Cola. It's legit there, and they're doing it. So who knows what's next? But the boys in Atlanta are smart enough to stay on top. They tell me that there's 3 different marketing divisions in Atlanta. One is the old group that deals with tried and true Coca-Cola. What is it, and how are we going to continue to make it good?
Mm-hmm.
The next group is kind of the middle group that they deal with ideas that have some potential, and how can we develop these, and how can we market those ideas. And then there's the guys that are maybe, as you and I would say, kind of off the wall, that take some ideas and really run with them to see what could be done. They're always looking at the changes in the marketplace, and that's why they're number one. We hope they'll always be.
Yes, amazing too, and we'll talk about some of the memorabilia and some other things too, like the displays, museums, and some collectibles as well on the Coca-Cola Trail. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also, check our Facebook page, Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Radio Public and Anchor FM, and watch the interview on the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube channel and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with the Coca-Cola man, Larry Jorgensen, the author of the Coca-Cola Trail, talking about the history of Coke and its fascinating origins, the roots, and interesting facts. And you talked about some of the collectibles and some of the memorabilia, like the early bottles and also the vending machines and everything else. And also, I was going to ask as well, too, with all the Coca-Cola memorabilia and the paraphernalia, it can be hats, it can be like, obviously the bottles or, the shirts and whatever else, anything that's Coca-Cola. What is considered, what's considered the rarest collectible of all and how much?
Well, I guess let's deal with bottles. I never realized until I got into this the amount of interest in collecting bottles. Mm-hmm. And I met a gentleman in Indiana who's got 10,000 of them in his basement,
Wow.
And what it is, the Coca-Cola bottle has, the old bottles have on the bottom where they were bottled, where the Coke was bottled. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as one of the most, and that's what makes them collectible. You get a bottle from a little bottling operation that maybe was a small town, lasted 10 years. That bottle is going to be worth a lot of money. I'll take you one step further, though. In 1905, Coca-Cola said to the bottle makers, "We want a bottle that is, when you pick it up, it's Coca-Cola." Because at that point, the bottlers were using anything they could get their hands on. And 5 bottle makers, met the challenge and created bottles that they wanted to become the Coca-Cola bottle we know today. Well, there was one selected company out of Terre Haute, Indiana, called Root Glass Company. They won the competition. Now, there was a judging done by the Bottlers Association in 1905, and each of the bottle companies took their suggested bottle to that judging. The one that won, the Coca-Cola bottle, there was 5 of them at the judging. 3 of them were destroyed. One ended up in the Coca-Cola archives in Atlanta, mm-hmm. and the other one ended up in private ownership. Now, what makes it unique is it says 1905 on it, and it wasn't until 1906 that style bottle became common. Well, about 6 months ago, that bottle came up for auction in Nevada, and it went for over $150,000.
Wow.
One bottle, one Coca-Cola bottle. And it was a prototype. It was a prototype of what actually happened, and one of only 2 in existence. So that's if you find something that's rare, the signs, they look for signs that might have been up and were only done for a short period of time, and golly, there's very few of them left, or the collectible trays. There were trays that were issued for just a certain event, and limited numbers of those. Those have become very valuable. What you have, if you're thinking about collecting Coca-Cola, make sure you're getting original, because there's a lot of repros, and they'll tell you, if you look on the back of it, whatever it is you're buying, a tray or whatever, it'll tell you the date that it was made and the fact that it was a reproduction or that it's an original. The originals in a lot of that are worth a lot of money, and I'm not a walking encyclopedia on that, but there are a lot of people that are, and they can tell you what it's worth. In fact, you can buy a directory that'll list a lot of the bottles and the different memorabilia and what it's worth.
That is amazing, too. And you also spent 2 years interviewing Coca-Cola families, conducting extensive research, and also maybe some of the stories. And have you talked to the past and present executives about Coke and how it's evolved and everything else?
Well, the ones I've talked to, because that's what the book is all about, is the families. The people that, back 4 or 5 generations ago, Grandpa dug into his stash and invested $1,500 in what he thought would be a good idea. And these families have hung on to that, and they are still bottling Coca-Cola. Those are the ones that have the interesting stories, and the stories of how their business evolved from, hand operating bottling equipment to these big lines now where the bottles go flying past you. There aren't at one time there were close to 1,500 bottlers in the United States, and the consolidation, the big get bigger, and some of them decide, well, we're not going to do this anymore. So it's boiled down to less than 100 bottlers in the United States bottling Coca-Cola. But there are still about 60 of those that are old third, fourth, fifth generation families that they bottle Coca-Cola like they've always done.
And whereabouts they have these, the first and second generations with the old bottling of Coca-Cola. Where are they located? And maybe we can take a tour of it one day.
Well, the book actually gives you a lot of the locations. See, the book is a combination of history and travel. I think I had a man, bless his heart, in California, sent me an email. He said, I'm planning my summer vacation around your book. He obviously was a Coca-Cola fan. But that's what we do with the book, is we tell you where you can go, what you're going to see, if it's a privately developed museum or a public. In fact, there's a museum in Alabama that at one time was a Coca-Cola plant. And the company, when they moved from that site, they gave the plant to the city. The city moved their museum into it, but the only thing that was required is they had to keep some of the bottling equipment on display. So that's a great visit. You go to this museum and you can see the old bottling equipment and a lot of the old history of Coca-Cola, and then learn a lot of other things about that particular area as well. And that's the kind of thing that we tell you about in the book. Where can you go, see, touch, and feel? And what are you looking at,
And of course, another thing as well, too, what's the strangest encounter or strangest story that you've ever encountered about Coca-Cola?
I think the strangest story is, in fact, the one I told you about Chattanooga, the fact that Coca-Cola didn't realize at that time the value of bottling and literally gave it away. There's been other instances along the way. There's a case again in the book of an armed robbery of a Coca-Cola plant, and there's stories where guys went to extra efforts to get Coca-Cola out to their customers. In fact, in Louisiana, one of the Coca-Cola bottlers in New Orleans used to deliver by P-road down the bayous, to get the Coca-Cola out. So I think each area has its unique history and how the people that did it, that bottled Coca-Cola, they had a dedication. There's no doubt about it that's what made it all happen. It wasn't we're just going to try this and see. It was, we're going to try this and make it go. And that, in fact, they did. They met a lot of challenges. Just a lot of it dealt with water. A lot of it dealt with, you're up in the North Country, and the North Country, Mike, things freeze.
Mm-hmm.
It was all, how do you keep the Coke from freezing in the trucks in those early days? Guy that had a bottling plant out in Wichita, Wichita Falls, Texas, told me that in the early days the roads were so bad that in the spring they'd have to send a truck to tow out a truck.
Oh my gosh!
So they faced a lot of challenges,
mm-hmm.
but they're still here. And as one of the bottlers who's in a fifth generation bottler said, when you were granted that franchise, that territory, it was like you didn't know it, but it was like somebody gave you the rights to a gold mine.
and I'm tasting liquid gold right now as we're talking. So I'll tell you, and I wish we had a video camera and I could just show you as well too. But the magic of radio, it's like the imagination of Coca-Cola just opening up, and you can just associate it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story, and I never thought I've done a lot of things. I never thought I would become so involved with a story. Gotten my fascination to the point that we're into book number 2.
Amazing too, and we'll talk about that. And how many cans or bottles of Coke do you consume a day?
Well, I'm probably a minimal consumer. I'll have at least one a day. On weekends, you're out beating the lawnmower or fishing or whatever you're doing, then the count will go up a little bit. But I'm not addicted to it. I just enjoy it.
And that's a good thing too. And a lot of your things you've been talking about, your favorite. What do you think's like the most challenging part of the book?
I think the most challenging part, and you'll see it when you see the book, was getting the historic photos. I made a real effort to go to families and to go to historic societies and to get photos that went all the way back to early 1900s to show these guys. In fact, I've got a photo in there I call him Coca-Cola's first delivery man.
Wow!
It's a black boy on a wagon loaded with Coca-Cola cases, pulled by I presume a mule, and he's in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Well, that was the first place they were bottled, and obviously he was the first guy to deliver them. So that's my and I had to dig to find that photo, but it's a neat photo, and it is probably Coca-Cola's first delivery man.
That is amazing. That is very amazing. I love that. And, of course, we just have a few minutes here, and with Larry Jorgensen, the author of the Coca-Cola Trail, that's currently out right now. And who do you consider biggest influence in getting information about Coca-Cola or writing the book?
I'm sorry. What was the question, Mike?
Who do you consider biggest influence when it comes to writing the book?
Oh, I think biggest influence and the biggest help was a gentleman by the name of Randy Mayo, who was in San Antonio, Texas. And in fact, I talked him into writing the foreword to the book. He is a 5th generation of the family that first bottled Coca-Cola. That they were the Biedenharns. Joe Biedenharn was the man, and Joe's brother. There were 6 brothers that got into this. Joe's brother Ollie, this gentleman that influenced me, is a great-grandson of Ollie Biedenharn. And it was the Biedenharns that really said, yeah, we're going to do this thing. We're going to take it and run with it. And they established Coca-Cola plants all over the South, the Southwest. And he's still involved. He's got 2 plants in Texas, one in Texas and one in Oklahoma. And he's very much respected within the Coca-Cola industry as sort of being the unofficial historian. Anytime I had a question, anytime I thought, how am I going to get this done? I'd talk to Randy, and he's like, here's how you do it. Don't worry about it. You'll get it. And we got it done. And it took that kind of someone who knew the industry to encourage me when I needed it, to say, yeah, you can find that. Here's where you go look,
That is amazing, too. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Well, I think, I'm an old news dog, Mike. My background is journalism. I'm not a novelist. I don't write romance stories. So I write about things that interest me. And I think that's, you got to have a passion for what you're doing. And some people have a passion for writing stories, love stories, or war stories, or detective stories. I enjoy history. I enjoy things that I have seen as I've grown up and wondered, what caused these and what's the history to them. So that I think the most important thing to answer your question is write about something you have a passion for. That when you get up in the morning, you say, yeah, I want to go after that. That was my morning this morning. I'm chasing 2 different chapters in the new book, and I'm enjoying it. I'm learning things.
That's amazing. I was going to ask about your upcoming book, and just give us a little brief glimpse to what it's about and when it's going to come out. And the book, The Coca-Cola Trail, where can we purchase the book?
Well, the book is available on Amazon, There's also a website, and you simply go to the Coca-Cola Trail.com. It's in a variety of stores, but we're not in any of the big bookstores. We're not in the Barnes & Noble and that type of thing. But it's interesting. The stores that are selling a lot of it are, in fact, those stores that sell Coca-Cola memorabilia.
Amazing.
And, well, if you think about it, the people that are walking in to buy an old Coca-Cola sign, they're the same kind of people that are going to be interested in my book. And you'll find it in those types of places. You'll find it, the RVers. In fact, the RV Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana, is selling the book in their gift store. And there's a lot of RV parks that sell the book in their store. And again, when it first happened, I thought, why? And one of the RV park owners told me, we have people in here who travel. They're of the age where they're interested in historic things to see and collectibles. Your book's a natural for them. It's a place to go. So it definitely fits a different niche of reader. It's a person that likes history, a person that likes to travel, and it's probably someone who's a collector of some sort. The bottle collectors like my book. In fact, the next book will have a chapter that'll tell you why the Coca-Cola bottle is green. And you're going to have to read the book to get the answer to that. But it's a good story.
All right, we'll do that. And, of course, once again, Larry Jorgensen, the Coca-Cola man, off of the Coca-Cola Trail, talking about the history of Coke. It's on Amazon right now. Larry, just want to say a big thank you for being on the program. You've been fantastic. And have a Coke on me. And lastly, how do people contact you?
Well, they can contact me through the website. Or if you want to pick up the phone, it's 337-591-1937. But if you go to the website, or if you just Google the Coca-Cola Trail, you're going to find it's in so many places that the contact info will be there. Not hard to find. I'm not running from the law, so I'm visible.
That's great. Okay. All right, Larry, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, and let's have a Coke and a smile sometime. Looking forward to having you on again soon, and please do everybody a favor, keep us up to date.
We'll do it. Thank you, Mike. I've enjoyed the time with you.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.